Tune in to the Social Impact Show with Samm Marshall, where we spotlight changemakers and their inspiring journeys.
Okay, so we continue our conversations here on the Social Impact Show, and today we're celebrating creativity, excellence, and the power of education to change lives. Now, the Honoris United Universities has reason to be proud. It's South Africa's creative powerhouse. Red and Yellow Creative School of Business and the Animation School brought home an incredible 18 awards at this year's Loeries, Africa and the Middle East's most prestigious celebration of creativity and innovation. Now, leading the charge was Red and Yellow students who walked away with 13 gold, silver, and bronze awards, solidifying the school's reputation as the best creative business school in Africa and the Middle East. Joining me now on the line is Verusha Maharaj, who's the managing director of Red and Yellow Creative School of Business. Verusha, good morning and thanks for joining me.
Good morning, and thank you so much for having me.
Okay, can you guys stop bragging now? Why did you walk away with 13 awards? What's happening?
I know, I wish I could stop bragging, but it's a very proud moment for us. Winning at the Loeries, it is a proud moment, like I said, because it affirms the caliber of our students and teachers and our curriculum. But for us, these wins go beyond creative awards. They're evidence for us that our students are developing the kind of thinking and craft that can make a real difference in the world.
Yeah, and I absolutely love it. Part of what we do on Gauteng's official Feel Good radio station is share feel good stories, and I think this is one of them. You've said that creative excellence isn't luck. It's the result of curiosity, craft, and discipline. Talk to me about cultivating, and I love this word curiosity. It feels to me that there's no boundaries, that everything is open if you're curious. How do you cultivate that and professionalize that kind of in students?
Yeah, so at Red and Yellow, creative thinking, we believe, is the most powerful skill of the future, but only if it's paired with commercial savvy and the ability to adapt. And so we spend a lot of our time equipping future thinkers, doers, makers with real world, the future-proof skills that they need to thrive, but not just with what we teach them. So if you walk into our campus, you see a sign right above the reception desk that says, "Be a sponge." And so we say whether you're climbing the ladder or building something of your own, we'll help you learn how to do this, but you have to make it work for you. So cultivating curiosity is built in everything that we do. It's what we focus on at Red and Yellow, so that we teach our students to see challenges as opportunities, to always be able to create something better and something that has real world impact.
But the Loeries, Verusha, is the best of the best competing against the best of the best. And I think competition is incredibly healthy. And I think there needs to be a healthy obsession with winning. How do you kind of strike that balance? Because you want to deliver the best creative projects. You want to make sure that the students understand the importance, that the work reflects innovation, that there's an element of social impact. How do you make sure that competition is healthy?
Yeah, it's a tough one, but I think that it comes through in the way that we approach how we teach our students. So if they leave here believing that they can use creativity to do something good, not just not just awards for the sake of awards, but to make a brand more inclusive, to go out there and tell stories that shift mindsets, then we've done our job. Because we don't just want them to win awards. We want them to be able to change conversations. And that's the kind of legacy we're building. And that's what we infuse in how we approach things with our students.
Yeah, I think the other thing also for me that that hit quite hard was this idea that creativity is alive and thriving in South Africa. That often we talk about this comparison. How do we compare with the rest of the world? And when an institution, an organization like yours wins 13 gold, I think it answers the question that creativity is thriving.
Yeah, 100%. I say this all the time, and I'll repeat it, that creative thinking is the most powerful skill of the future. And we infuse that in how we teach our students at Red and Yellow, but that comes through in every interaction they have, because whatever that is must be supported still with the uniquely human abilities like leadership, adaptability, and social intelligence. And we believe that that total package is what drives creativity, because we're teaching the great creators and inventors and leaders for the 21st century.
The industries that a lot of these young people play in, they're constantly being disrupted, right? And it's almost, I would argue, in 2025 and beyond, imperative that you teach the new creative or whatever person you're turning out into the world, that they need to understand that disruption is now the order of the day. And I also love this idea, the way the school has positioned itself. It's the creative school of business, and business in itself is being disrupted. How do we prepare the creative of tomorrow, the leader of tomorrow, to understand what disruption, the opportunities within disruption?
Good question. So, I mean, for us, we sit at the intersection of creativity and business. So it's what we call the blend of commercial logic and creative magic. And in that, it means that we try to teach our students to learn and to think like entrepreneurs. So creative, but also strategic and practical, so that you can disrupt and innovate. And our lecturers are industry people, so they bring that real world into the classroom. And so we feel that when our students leave Red and Yellow from day one, they're able to make a difference by thinking differently. And so our role in everything we do is to prepare our students for success, not just in the future, but in what could happen right now, and what the innovation that you're talking about, what that innovation is and how it's disrupting. So that single-minded purpose continues to drive us, 30 years later. And for right now, we are focused on equipping these humans with the 21st century realities and the exciting opportunities that will arise from the digital explosion, the ever-increasing pervasiveness of technology and disruption, as you call it.
Yeah. For many, for those that don't know, the Loeries is especially for students, the Loeries are the equivalent of Oscars. Yeah, because it's a big thing. I mean, it's kind of literally moving from a classroom environment to the Oscars, and then kind of producing the work that stands shoulder to shoulder with agencies and industry veterans, and to be able to walk away with 13 speaks a lot of to the value and the quality of the input, but also the output. What I also find fascinating is that young people are already, and I almost feel in many ways what you guys are doing, it's this kind of integrated work readiness program that's kind of baked into their studies. So it's not just kind of somebody comes in, they learn a bunch of stuff, and then they're in the industry. It feels to me like they come in, they learn a bunch of stuff, but then they get prepared and ready to enter the world of work. That's the kind of feeling that I get.
Yeah, that's 100%. There's no student that leaves Red and Yellow with a qualification, a certificate for a qualification, that doesn't have workplace learning baked into their curriculum. So, for example, our exit level students right now, this week, as we speak today, they started on their 3-week workplace learning module. And that means that they had to go out, they had to find a business that they relate to, they had to secure a place that is relevant to what they've studied, and they actually get scored on that. So if they don't pass it as a module, they get rated by the company, they don't get their qualification. That's how important it is.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I know there was 13 gold, but what was, not to single anybody out to make the others feel bad, but what was one of the projects that stood out for you that you submitted?
That would be so unfair for me to say right now.
Yeah, don't pick your favorite, pick your least favorite.
We were proud of the 2 goals, but especially like the illustration work that was done. I think that's something that we've always been strong in. I don't wanna have any favorites, because I also have to review the work. But we are very proud of the 2 gold students, and they did outstanding work. But not just them, also the lecturers that supported them throughout the crafting process.
I quickly want to touch on the currency of creativity, and I think for loads of people that don't understand this, that we of course in this current economy, we're battling massive unemployment and inequality. I don't think people understand the value of creativity as a valued economic asset. That you can literally take somebody from being unemployed, unskilled, unqualified into some kind of entrepreneurial thinking, some kind of creating a business or a revenue opportunity. I think it's highly undervalued. How do we change that to show parents that the creative economy has massive opportunities for young people?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's something we battle with all the time. And the philosophy and approach that we take is it's about preparing future leaders who can use creativity not just to sell ideas, but to solve problems. And in that comes building a more inclusive society. And so we take that very seriously. So access is central to our purpose. And it means ensuring that the workforce of tomorrow has access to outstanding quality education and not just the privileged. So that's why at Red and Yellow, every year, 20% of our students are on a Red and Yellow bursary. And these are talented students from all backgrounds. And that's to highlight that investment, which is about building a future workforce that reflects South Africa's diversity. People who bring different perspectives and experiences into the creative economy and then build on that.
Yeah, I think I love what you're saying. I mean, there's a lot you can talk about. We can still talk about how do we build a new creative economy, AI as a disruption tool, is it a collaborator versus a competitor? We can still talk about women in the creative space, but I really appreciate your time and thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, that's Verusha Maharaj, Managing Director of Red and Yellow, the Creative Business School. And what they've recently done is they've literally taken 13 awards across multiple categories at the 2025 Loeries Awards. And I think it's a really amazing story about innovation, how they drive creativity, the idea around social change, and developing language that can thrive in this new economy as they get their students to enter these competitions. And as you heard me say, for a student, coming from a classroom into the Loeries is literally the equivalent of the Oscars. And it's just amazing how they've developed the kind of work, produced the kind of work that stands shoulder to shoulder with agencies and industry veterans. Okay, that's a wrap of the show. We'll be back again tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining us on this journey of highlighting positive stories that build this brand we call South Africa. We obviously have great conversations with people, whether it's champions in the sports, arts and culture, or it's heads of companies, institutions and organizations, but they are all singly focused on this idea of building a better tomorrow. And that's the idea of the show. Mondays to Fridays, 9 to 12, we only do positive stories. We only have meaningful, progressive conversations around how do we build and develop this brand. So thank you very much for joining us on that journey. We'll be back again tomorrow with a loaded show, more amazing human beings doing extraordinary things, all driving this idea that together we are stronger. So remember, be good, do good.
Stay positive. Stay positive.
Verusha, thank you very much.
919.